Welcome to the To The Point podcast, a weekly Bible-based conversation about the things that matter most in everyday life. Join Pastor Andy and Kathy Addis for a kitchen table conversation as they talk about life, marriage, parenting, faith, culture, and more, all through a biblical lens. So pull up a chair, join the conversation, and let's get to the point.
Well, greetings and welcome back to another edition of To The Point. We are still off location or on location, or I don't know how you would say that.
Not in studio.
Not in studio. We're actually still on our 3-week beautiful sabbatic break. Yeah. We are not working. We are working. That's why we're doing this on a sabbatic, because it's just working differently. It's breaking rhythms and doing things a little differently. And not coming into the office is part of that. Working at a distance has been wonderful. So we hope that you enjoyed the first edition. If you haven't, it kind of builds on itself. But go back and listen. A week ago, we started a summer series, calling it Clash. How do you deal with conflict in a Christian way? Mm-hmm. And we talked about the big deal of, if you're the Christian, doesn't matter what they do or how they respond, how are you going to handle things and get rid of the baggage? That was convicting, wasn't it?
Yeah. Everything we have to take off.
That's right. And so that was a great start. But now we're going to come to an Old Testament example, kind of a how-to of this getting put together. And we're going to be in 2 Samuel 16, verses 5 and following. But as we do this, let me begin with a question. This is kind of the spark for this. Have you ever been in a hurtful situation where you replayed that conversation in your head 100 times? I think last week you actually mentioned saying that you got into arguments that never really happened, and you played them out again and again. Maybe someone questioned your motives. Maybe they attacked your character. Not talking about a little dust up. I'm talking about one of those things with some deep scars.
Yeah.
You ever walk through that? When that happens, this is a moment that's truly going to test what you say you believe. Right. Because we can preach a good sermon on a Sunday, we can raise our hands in worship on a Monday, we can lay down some service on a Tuesday, but come Wednesday, when the fiery darts are cast at you, how are you going to handle it when they get personal?
Yeah.
Right? When it becomes an issue, Mama Bear, when somebody attacks your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's hard. It's hard. Even as adult children, it's still hard.
Yeah. Somebody attacks your church, somebody attacks your character. These things now have gone from just how conflict management to how do we keep from murder? Right? That we're straight up offended. Yeah. We're really hurt. This is not a little thing, this is a big thing. We're going to call this a Shimei moment, because David has a run-in with a guy by the name of Shimei, and the reality is that the accusations are pretty harsh. Yeah. So let's just start kind of there. The scripture for us is 2 Samuel chapter 16, and as we walk through this, the first thing that we're going to see is there is an external attack. Let me read verses 5 through 8, and if you see something significantly different, you can add to it, but I'm going to read out of the ESV. So remember, we're talking about clash. How do we deal with this? Here's where the attack starts in the story. When King David came to Bahurim, there came out a man of the family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shimei, the son of Gera, and as he came, he cursed continually. Now, I said I was going to read through 8, but what's going on with Saul? I mean, you've studied a lot in the life of David, but Saul picked David, wanted him to be a part of his kingdom, was best friends with his son, used to sing him to sleep because his music was a blessing to him.
Right.
But things got a little twisted, didn't they?
Yeah, Saul got a little green-eyed monster going on.
Yeah.
A little jealousy, or a lot of jealousy, and then the Spirit of the Lord left him. And David, by this point, David had already been chosen as king long before this, but now he was king and Saul was not.
Yeah, Saul went through a jealousy phase, then he went through an attempted murder phase.
Right, yeah.
Literally threw a spear at him, tried to stick him to the wall.
More than once.
Then hunted him down, and David had him at knife's edge. He didn't even know it, in a cave, but again showed mercy on him, did nothing but honor the king. And the king eventually, he's out.
Yeah.
And David's in. But the family of the king, it doesn't matter how right David was. They were offended for their brother Saul.
Yeah.
And they had loss because of they were no longer the family on the throne.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to know all that as background.
Yeah.
So David, the king, is coming along, and this guy from the house of Saul, his name is Shimei, he came after them and he cursed continually, right? So that's bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does yours say the word cursed, by the way? Is that what it says?
In 6, it
Yes.
says, he threw
No, verse 5. Verse 5.
5. As King David came from Bahurim, a man came out of the village cursing them. It was Shimei, son of Gera, from the same clan as Saul's family.
Say, yeah, the word in the original Hebrew, makelel, if I can say that correctly, is a word, means be small, insignificant, fast, declare, cursed, accursed. He's calling him a nobody, a small thing, and he's cursing him all along the way. So you're the king. To the king, he's saying this. So let me pick that up again. Verse 5. When King David came out to Bahurim, and there came out a man from the family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shimei, the son of Gera, and as he came, he cursed continually. And he threw stones at David, and all the servants of King David, and all the people, and all the mighty men were on his right hand and on his left. So he's got SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the guys that we know the stories, that they went and got the cup of cold water from Bethlehem.
Right.
That they killed a lion in a pit on a snowy day.
Yeah.
In a field of lentils, they took down hundreds. Anyway, I interrupt you. These guys what?
These guys were like the snipers that would be sent out. Like they were the baddest of the bad guys.
Yeah.
Like,
and yet they were also WWE. Right. You know what I mean? Because they killed giants. Literally, they were attributed. David killed Goliath, but these guys killed his 3 brothers. If you read, I mean, these are some bad mama jamas.
Yeah.
So you got to get this picture. This guy comes out against the king, and all of his attendants are there, and his mighty men are on either side, and he's cursing him. But not only cursing him, he's throwing stones at him. Yeah. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But the words will hurt when you're throwing stones at me.
Right. He's up on a cliff just pitching rocks at these guys.
It's an amazing story.
It really is. And he's by himself.
So, which tells you what? He's committed to this.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's mad about it.
He hates David.
Yeah.
And thinks he's 100% right.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, that's kind of one of the hardships. Even when you know you're right, if somebody's mad at you and they think they're 100% right, part of the hurt is like, how can you believe that?
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to quit getting into it before we get into it. And he threw stones at David and all the servants of King David, and all the people and all the mighty men were on his right side and his left. And Shimei said as he cursed, get out, you man of blood, you worthless man. The Lord has avenged on you all the blood of the house of Saul. Wait. So he's not only saying that I hate you, he's saying God hates you. Mm-hmm. And you're in a bad way right now because God's on my side and not your side. This is harsh.
Yeah.
This is harsh.
Yeah,
stuff.
these are big words.
The Lord has avenged on you all the blood of the house of Saul, in whose place you have reigned. And the Lord has given the kingdom into the hand of your son, Absalom. There's a whole other story.
Right, yeah.
See, your evil is on you, for you are a man of blood. All right. We have an attack. And if I just kind of go through here and look at this, what's the attack? He cursed him. Yeah. He cursed him for who he was and what he did. Mm-hmm. He brought up his past. He said that God is judging you. He brought his family into it. Yeah. And then he tried to physically harm him by throwing rocks. What I'm getting at is this is real drama.
Yeah.
This is a real hurt. This is not a grudge match or some people who just didn't like each other. He's looking for a throwdown. He's willing to die.
Yeah.
To do this.
Yeah. This isn't somebody throwing a fit in a meeting.
Right.
Right. This is a guy who's willing to break the last straw kind of thing.
So, and we've all probably experienced this at one level. Somebody who said something or somebody who snickered at us. Maybe somebody who even blamed God or told that we were being judged by God. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they threw rocks in the context. Not many people get
proverbial.
rocks.
sense.
But maybe they undercut you at work, or they move the schedule so that it was damaging to your kids' soccer, or
Right.
something where they threw some rocks. So we've experienced bits and pieces of this, but this is being set up so that you can see David is going to have an opportunity to respond to this. Now, he's in control.
Yeah.
He's got all the chips.
He's king.
He's king. And not only king, but what's he got on his right and his left?
All of, well,
The enforcers.
right.
Right.
All of his people.
He just has to snap his fingers and this is over. So, what comes next? I call this the friends and family plan. When you're under attack and the people that love you recognize the attack, the fact that they love you sometimes means they give bad advice.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm guilty of being one of those people sometimes.
Well, and it's that because they love you that they're like, oh, bring it. I'm gonna jump on this. So I want you to look at verse 9. We're going to keep reading now. We've seen the attack. Let's see the setup, because this is the advice now that David is given in this conflict. Then Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, said to the king, "Why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over and take off his head."
And he meant it.
Well, like, that wasn't a metaphor.
Right.
He's a warrior. He says, first of all, how good would it feel when you're being publicly abused to have the person nearest you who's bad to the bone go, why should that dead dog be able to say that about you? I mean,
I'm going to go take him out.
well, that's the second half of that. But even the
yeah.
first part of it, he's like, that guy's a nobody. He's a nothing. Don't you ever get a sense of satisfaction when somebody that's against you, you meet somebody who's against them?
It's like somebody's on your side.
Well, they're on your side, but not only on your side, they think they're stupid too. and I'm trying to set this up, trying to get the feel for this. But the friends and family plan is this. David, fight back. Matter of fact, cut his head off. Fight harder. He hit you, well, you hit him harder. And then he just says, I'm with you. You say the word.
Yeah.
I got your back. I'm all over this. It feels like that's a friend who's closer than a brother, right? That this is who you want in the battle. This is your, we used to call them shovel buddies.
Yeah.
Remember what a shovel buddy is?
Yeah. It's you give them a scenario and they say, I'll bring the shovel.
Yeah, because you're going to hide the body together, right?
Yep.
It's not right, but
No.
but you're gonna
Right.
you're gonna do that so that you have somebody who is your shovel buddy in all of that. Anyway, fight back, hit harder. I'm with you. But David, his response is a noble response, and this is what we're getting at.
Yeah.
As we look at this story, David's the king. He has all the power. David has not done anything wrong. This guy's mad at him for something that God has done, and yet he's twisting it and saying that God is on his side. He's got people for him that's got his back saying, we can handle this. This
Right.
needs to be done. But listen to David's response. I want to come down now in verse 10. But the king said, what have I to do with you, you sons of Zeruiah? If he is cursing because the Lord has said to him, curse David, who then shall say, why have you done so? And David said to Abishai and to all his servants, behold, my own son seeks my life. Remember we said that was another story.
Right,
Absalom.
right.
Behold, my own son seeks my life. How much more now may this Benjamite? So this line of Saul, what he's basically saying there is like, if my own son is after me, why wouldn't this guy be? I mean, everybody knows the story. I now have the throne that his dad had. And he goes on to say this, leave him alone and let him curse, for the Lord has told him to do it. It may be that the Lord will look on the wrong done to me, and that the Lord will repay me with good for his cursing today. Okay, I think that when somebody is just attacking, and this happens in ministry, unfortunately, a lot, instead of just picking, letting God lead you where you want to go to church. If somebody leaves the church, they got to make it somebody else's fault. So they'll accuse this or that. Or if a ministry grows and when another one doesn't, then we throw stones because they must be cheating somehow. It happens. And so, one of the things I tell our location pastors, one of the things I have to remind myself constantly is that that battle is not a battle worth fighting.
Yeah.
And it's just not worth throwing yourself into, because it's going to take all your energy away from the real fight. And so what David did is amazing here. I see 4 things. And so if we got any lesson here, all of it's been scenario, here's the 4 things. First, he listened. He listened to him.
Yeah.
When he said, how much more this Benjamite? You know what that is? And I'm going to want you to respond to this, whether you think it's true or hard or wrong or whatever. But when there's criticism, and like, I've got 2 sons in ministry too. And sometimes they come to me and they're like, man, blank, blank, blank happened with blank, blank at blank. And I'm like, that sounds like it's completely unfair, that it was wrong, that they've mischaracterized, anything like that. But in the same breath, look for the kernel of truth. Because usually somewhere in there, there is something, even in the midst of abusiveness and abrasiveness, there is something that you can say, you know what? That's right. That's something, I am redeemed, but I'm not yet fully restored.
Yeah.
And there's this kernel of truth. And to do that, you have to listen. Think that's fair?
Yeah. I love that David didn't argue back with Shimei. He was like, I'm sure it looked like to all of the people around David, like, what is wrong with him? I mean, David was no wuss.
No.
Like,
no.
He's
a warrior.
He was a warrior, and he was fully capable of fighting his own battles. And the fact that he said nothing, like that, I think is huge, because he was listening and he didn't argue his point.
Yeah, you want to know one of the struggles is you can't listen and talk at the same time.
That is true.
You can be in a conversation and have back and forth, but many times when we're not talking, we're just thinking in our head what we're going to say and waiting for them to take a breath so we can talk.
Yeah.
But David listened.
Yeah.
He didn't even participate in the conversation. So that's step 1. Step number 2, he empathized. He's like, I'm suffering right now because my own son is out to get me. He goes, but this is the family line of a family that I knew well that has really suffered because of what Saul did. And so not only did he listen, but he empathized. And I think empathy, there's another way we can talk about empathy, and I think it is a missing Christian virtue in our culture today. It is giving the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
If we would instead of assuming the worst, if we would just give the benefit of the doubt, I mean, wouldn't that change everything?
I think it would. I think we would be able to see people in a much lighter, nicer light. Like, just to assume that maybe they didn't mean it like that, or maybe they're having a bad day, or, maybe they didn't understand something.
Yeah. Well, they say, like, if you know how to worry, you know how to meditate, because worry is just the negative form of meditation. Well, we already assume things about people.
Yeah.
We already, think they're out to get us, or assume that they cut us off in traffic because they're trying to harm us or whatever.
Right.
What if we use that same power, but we Holy Spiritized it? And that is now a thing. We're going to Holy Spiritize it. And instead of assuming the worst, we ask the Lord to teach us our first response. Wouldn't it be great if our knee-jerk reaction was, well, bless their soul? Or, look what I bet they were trying to do this. And if we would just empathize with them a little bit, that changes everything.
It gives a moment.
What do you mean by that? Gives a moment.
It gives your brain a chance to reset instead of automatically, fists up, ready to fight. It gives your heart and your mind a minute to go, okay.
You take a beat.
Let's just think about this for a second.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So he listened, he empathized, and then he admitted. Now, he didn't admit that this guy was right. He just admitted that, I don't know what the Lord's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe God told him to say this. Maybe this is a part of my growth. Maybe this is what I needed to hear. Why would I tell him to be quiet if I don't know God didn't tell him to be quiet? Woo!
That's huge.
Now, sometimes, again, go back to that kernel of truth. Sometimes it's okay to admit, you know what you're saying? I see where you're coming from, because you're right about this. But there was really nothing for David to even say, yeah, that's legit. And yet he admitted that he shouldn't say anything, won't say anything because he didn't know what God was doing.
Yeah.
He's going to let God be God.
I think that speaks so much of his relationship with the Lord that it wasn't about Shimei. It was about what is God doing? And he was willing to let this guy be used by the Lord. And he was like, I'm going to give God all the room to move.
Yeah.
That's really big.
And that's giving God that room to move is you admitting, sometimes you're not admitting fault, you're admitting you're not God.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not in control.
Exactly.
I can't handle this.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that as we're listening to this and they're having our little kitchen table conversation here, that people are thinking about their own circumstances. And we're like, now I don't have a guy throwing rocks at me, but I do have somebody who hates me. And have I listened to them? Have I tried to empathize with them? Have I admitted to the Lord my part of this, or just the fact that I can't make them think anything else? So I'm going to leave it in God's hands. I'm just going to put it right there.
Yeah.
So one more. He listened, he empathized, he admitted, and then he trusted. Man, that is hard. Verse 12, it may be that the Lord will see my distress and repay me with good for the cursing I am receiving today. And I love it. It doesn't say God will.
It's maybe.
Maybe. Does yours say maybe as well?
And perhaps.
And perhaps.
The
I
Lord
love
will
that
see
perhaps.
that I'm being wronged.
Perhaps. It's a possibility. God might. But he just trusts that whatever
Yeah.
God does,
That's huge.
that he's already been blessed. He goes, listen, I'm still the king.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I'm still the one that God has prophesied over.
I love that about David. I have a little crush on David, but his.
It's a good thing he's a Bible character because I might have to fight
well,
for you.
and he's hundreds of years old. But, but just that whole, I don't have to flaunt who I am to this guy to prove that he's right or he's
anything.
wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trusting that God put me in this place. He's got a plan in all of it.
Man, I love it.
That's
love
huge.
It. So if David is a king, this is a kingly response. I call it a noble response.
Yeah.
But if we are sons and daughters of the king, this is our kingly response
Yeah.
to the overt attacks, even when the friends and family plan says to do something else. It is to listen, to empathize, to admit, and to trust.
Yeah.
Then you say, well, what if that doesn't fix everything? It's not going to.
Yeah.
Read the rest of the story, verses 13 and 14. So David and his men continued along the road while Shimei was going along the hillside opposite him, cursing as he went and throwing stones at him and showering him with dirt. The king and all the people with him arrived at their destination exhausted, and there he refreshed himself. To me, that's the most powerful part of this, that there wasn't an end.
Yeah.
They went, oh, I see that there's a better way, and he made it right. No, this guy continued to hate him, continued the attack. But David said, let it be. I'm trusting in God. And he never fought back.
Yeah.
He
And he didn't defend himself.
Well, I'm not saying, I want to make sure nobody hears be a doormat.
Right.
It's not about taking abuse. We're saying in a conflict, your testimony is more important than your rights.
Yeah.
And David just walked along and trusted that what the Lord was doing was going to be enough.
And, I think we can contrast this, that in other places, David did show his power. David did show that he was a warrior and that he could have taken care of himself. And so in complete contrast to this scenario, every person that was walking with David was getting hit with dirt, was probably getting hit in the head with rocks. And they're probably looking at David like, what in the world? What is wrong with you?
And some of them are probably thinking, why do I have to take abuse? This guy's mad at you.
Yeah. I'm just going to stay way back here. But the fact that David didn't defend himself to Shimei or the other people around him. He didn't give an explanation other than maybe God's going to do this.
Maybe. You can't control every attack, but you can always control your response.
Exactly.
And this is the problem of free will in a fallen world, is that the fallen world will continue to attack, but you have to exercise your free will to serve the Lord in obedience and to continue to walk in the correct way.
His relationship with God was more important.
Oh, and the people who are getting dirt kicked on him, they were watching him. And right now we're going like, I can't believe it. I think many of them were going like,
wow.
this is why I follow this guy.
So much integrity.
Yeah, I want to serve. I want to grow up and be like this. If the king can do that, then I can do it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes our greatest victory isn't striking back, it's refusing to surrender your character. That was a preordained line, but I want to make sure we use that.
Wow.
Sometimes the greatest victory is not the fighting back or the striking back, it's refusing to surrender your character. So, what's our 2 cents? Our 2 cents on this, you can take a different slant if you'd like, but for me, it's to remember that not every attack deserves a counterattack. That not every time someone comes against you does it mean you need to respond to that. Sometimes God is doing something in us and through us, and the most important thing is not to defend our reputation, but to guard our heart.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this all the time. You're going to have to be spiritually attuned and sensitive. Let the Holy Spirit guide you, because there are times you need to draw a line. There are times you need to have a response, but not every single time.
Yeah.
You don't fight every single battle, right? Well, no, I take it back. You fight every single battle, but you don't always fight others in every single battle.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my 2 cents. You got anything from this?
I think the trusting and believing that God will make it right if it's wrong. And he will.
Got a visitor out here.
He agrees with me. And that God is God is big enough to fix it if you're right and they're wrong.
Amen.
And that he will use it for his glory and our benefit. But we have to let him.
Amen.
And that's sometimes the hardest part.
Absolutely. I think it's such a good word. Such a good word, Ben. This story is full of example for us to look up to. Those people walking along the road with David, be one of them.
Yeah.
Put yourself behind the mighty men as you watch them tense up with their hands on their swords going, I want to take this guy out.
Just once, let me go.
But David said, taking a shot to the head with a rock and hearing the curses come down, just walking forward, just trust in the Lord. Let you be in the crowd and let that be your example.
And understand you're going to get tired. Weary, the word mine uses weary, but they rested by the river.
Conflict is hard, but conflict can shape us in a godly direction. And even when we respond in a godly way, if they continue to throw rocks, somebody walking with you is going to see it, and it's going to make a difference.
Yep.
Amen? All right, well, next time we're in part 3 of our Clash series, and we're going to talk about the most famous conflict passage, I think, in Scripture, which is Matthew 18. And it's going to be how we have the conversation, how we actually enter into some conflict management. So it's going to be a great time. Can't wait to join with you together, and we'll do it again on another episode of To the Point.
Thanks for joining us on To the Point. If today's conversation encouraged you, head over to crosspointchurch.com/podcast to catch previous episodes and discover other podcasts you might enjoy. And don't forget to subscribe, share with a friend, and join us next time as we keep the conversation going. To the Point.